Hello and welcome everyone back to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan women's basketball live from the Crisler Center. My name is Charlie Brigham, alongside me Kendall Spencer. Joining us later will be Adam Bressler, and boy oh boy do we have a good one for you tonight, folks. The number 6 nationally ranked Michigan Wolverines facing off in a Big Ten conference matchup against the number 21 Iowa Hawkeyes.
The number 1 team in the Big Ten versus the number 3 team. Also, the best offense in the Big Ten, that's Iowa. They average 84.2 points a game versus the best defense in the Big Ten with Michigan, who holds opposing teams to only 58.1 points per game.
You mentioned that high-octane offense, Kendall, spearheaded by both Caitlin Clark and Monica Sonona.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark, obviously. Everyone who watches women's basketball knows who she is. She's such a dynamic player. Coming off very recently, had back consecutive 30-point triple-doubles. She is the coach's preseason player of the year, whereas the media's preseason player of the year is on this Wolverines team with Naz Hillman.
Both inside and out, this Iowa offense is incredible. As you mentioned, Caitlin Clark, one of the premier scorers in all of college basketball. On the inside, Monica Sonano, just as dominant. Clark and Sonano combining for an average of 41 points per game between the duo. And then the side of the Michigan Wolverines, another extremely efficient offense. Naz Hillman, you mentioned, over 20 points a game this season, close to 9 rebounds. Michigan without one of their leading scorers tonight in Leah Brown, who's out with a lower right leg injury. So it's going to be interesting to see where Michigan turns to pick off that offensive slack.
Yeah, they definitely, as we've mentioned before, Iowa will score, and they will score a lot. So it's going to be up to the other members of this Wolverines team to kind of pick up the slack. And then obviously Naz Hillman's going to try and do as much of it herself as she possibly can. And it wouldn't be unlikely for her to, not necessarily match Caitlin Clark, but get pretty close.
Give you the quick starting lineups for the Iowa Hawkeyes. It's Tomi Taiwo, Kylie Feuerbach, Kate Martin, Caitlin Clark, and Monica Sonano. On the side of the Michigan Wolverines, it's Maddie Nolan, Layla Felia, Danielle Roush, Naz Hillman, and rounding out the starting 5, it's Emily Kaiser. It's Go Pink tonight in Crisler Center in support of breast cancer awareness. The Iowa Hawkeyes in the all-pink uniforms, Michigan in their home maize. And, the maize rage, typically, in their all maize tonight in all pink.
Gotta show support for the cause. Be pink rage. Doesn't sound as good, but...
Well, we are just moments away from the opening tip. Kendall, is there anything specifically you think Michigan needs to do to try to keep Caitlin Clark and this Iowa Hawkeyes offense in check?
Caitlin Clark has known to be a little spotty at times this season. I think it was particularly relevant in that Duke game in the ACC Big Ten Challenge, where it can take her a while to heat up in certain games. If they're able to just slow her down at the start, they could see her, kind of lay low on the score sheet until the second half. And I think that's the best case scenario for the Wolverines when it comes to keeping her from being as dominant as she is.
It'll be interesting to see who Michigan puts on Clark. Most likely it'll be freshman Layla Felia, has proved to be an elite defender for this Wolverines offense. And it looks like we are set to go. Naz Hillman wins the opening tip, and we are off. Felia reels it in. Now passes up top. Danielle Roush dribbles right over in front of the Iowa bench. Pass now over towards Maddie Nolan. Roush runs all the way through a Tiger screen. Now up top. Felia intended for Naz Hillman inside. Tipped away. Nolan now with the ball in the corner. Shot clock down to 10 seconds. Felia ball up top. Hillman fighting for position down low. Now coming up to set a high ball screen. Felia driving hard to the basket, up with the right hand, and she's going to get called for a travel.
Something that you almost saw with that tip there, the Wolverines struggled with in the last game was turnovers. They had 25 against Indiana.
Hillman and Sonano, both incredibly physical players, are going to be battling down low all game long. Clark kicks to the right wing. 3 ball up, and that one off the front iron, no good. That one coming off the right hand of Kate Martin.
Iowa's last game was an 84-50 blowout victory over the Badgers.
Michigan coming right back down now. Hillman driving baseline against Sonano. Looking for a cutting Daniel Roush, can't get her. Roush now back outside. Ball swung up to the left wing. Now back to Roush corner. High post, Emily Kaiser, pull-up jumper off the back iron, no good. It's going to be tipped away, but Iowa pulls it in. Taiwo now pushing up in transition, gives it to Clark, crossing back to her left hand on Maddie Nolan. Step back jumper from the elbow, and that one's good. Caitlin Clark opening things up for the Hawkeyes.
Caitlin Clark leads the country in points per game with 26.4.
Clark now defending Danielle Roush in the left wing. Ball swung all the way across. Hillman setting a ball screen for Layla Felia, driving to her right hand. Back out to Roush for three. That one's good. Michigan answers right back.
That was an excellent shot.
Clark now dribbling down on the left side. Step back jumper for three on the left wing. That one no good off the right side. Iowa will just fire. A shot over 100 more threes than Michigan has this season. Most of them coming off the hands of Caitlin Clark, as we saw just there.
She shoots so much.
Felia using her body to get all the way to the rim. Feuerbach looking for a little bit of a push off there, not going to get the call. So Michigan out to a 5-2 lead with 7:50 left to play here in the first quarter. There's Felia guarding the ball, as I mentioned. Pass inside, intended for Sinano, just a little bit too hot.
Yeah, Iowa not having the start that they want offensively, just not really being able to set anything up, and then obviously those threes from Clark aren't falling.
Score still sits 5-2. It's Felia on the right wing. Looking inside, Kaiser guarded by Martin. Back out to Roush. Roush now driving baseline, getting all the way in. Dump off pass to Nas Hillman, and that one's up and good. Textbook Michigan offense, and an easy bucket for the All-American.
Up until that point, Iowa had been doing a pretty good job keeping Hillman out of the game, but seems like that might not be the case anymore.
Martin driving to her left hand, now back to the middle. Nice little step-through move, in Iowa up to 4. Bounce pass inside, Naz Hillman working on Sinano, and she's going to be up and fouled. Clark came in from the backside. They're going to give the foul to Sinano, so Iowa breathing a sigh of relief there.
Yeah, Naz Hillman not afraid to, kind of lean into that. She'll play the physical game if she needs to, and she'll draw a lot of fouls while being a very clean player herself.
Hillman's first free throw attempt is good. It makes it 8-4 with 7:04 left to play. Hillman looking for a second from the charity stripe. That one just makes its way over the front rim and drops down. Michigan now with a 5-point lead. Clark pushing up in transition on the right side. Now gives it up to Taiwo. A lot of off-ball movement from Clark. Now pass inside for Sinano. She'll come up and set a screen for Feuerbach. Loses her footing, now driving baseline. Hillman steps over to help. Kick out to Kate Martin, wide open three. That one way wide, just off the backboard.
A little bit better from Iowa being able to set something up there. Just can't get the points to show for it.
Roush sidestep, pulls up for three now off the screen from Naz. Hillman hits every part of the rim but won't go. Pass up now to Clark in transition. Little step back, drives to her right hand. Back up top, Kate Martin again for three. That one's good.
Not gonna miss that twice.
Iowa will trade twos for threes all day long. Not really looking to do too much defensively as Naz Hillman kicks cross court to Maddie Nolan. Wide open three from the corner. And that one's always going to go. Maddie Nylon with her first of the night.
Neither team has been afraid to let it fly here.
Clark wanted the dribble handoff to Taiwo. Now gets her on a back cut. Swung over to Martin, driving against Hillman to her right hand. Turned around, tough jumper off the backboard. Hillman's going to reel it in. 5:45 left to play. Michigan with a 5-point lead, 12-7. Roush over in front of the Hawkeye bench, calling for a ball screen. Not going to get it. Swings to Felia, who gives her right back. 17 seconds left on the shot clock. Full reversal. Now inside, Naz Hillman goes up with the left hand, and that one's going to be tipped out of bounds. Martin right there on the defense.
Both teams so far in this game dominated pretty heavily by that three-point shot. But when they have so many good shooters, you completely understand why.
7 seconds left in the shot clock. Nolan now inside. Cameron Williams up with the nice little baby left hook. And Michigan extends their lead to 7. Williams checked in just a moment ago for Emily Kaiser. Feuerbach driving baseline, puts up a tough layup, and Danielle Roush right there! And that's an offensive foul called on Feuerbach. Tripped her up as Roush grabbed the loose ball.
There was just, tried to go under the net there, but got completely stuffed. Probably was looking for a foul call there and ended up tripping and getting a foul called.
Sonano gets her first rest of the night, checking in for her, number 44, Addison O'Grady. 5 minutes left in the first quarter. Michigan holding a comfortable lead right now. Pass up top for Feely, gives it right back to Nolan. Looking inside for Hillman, double team comes. Hillman will retreat dribble, and there's going to be a 3-second call. That one on Cameron Williams. You can see some looks of disdain from Coach Kim Barnes-Arico. That's been something that Williams has struggled with all year. As we enter the first media timeout, Michigan up 14-7 here in Crisler Center.
Iowa so far in this game, not, as I probably mentioned multiple times, look at not having a lot of those shots fall. They have the best field goal percentage in the country, shooting about 500. So that's not going to be forever, but Wolverines are definitely doing a really good job of taking advantage of Iowa missing those shots while they can.
Another thing Michigan doing a great job of is just slowing down the pace of the game. Danielle Roush, a veteran player for this Michigan team at the point guard position, is doing a fantastic job, as I mentioned, slowing down the pace and not letting Iowa just run up and down, because that's what the Hawkeyes want to do. You mentioned over 84 points a game on average for this Iowa Hawkeyes team, and most of that is just because they just want to trade buckets. Nobody really wants to play defense, especially Caitlin Clark. As fantastic as a player she is, on the ball, she doesn't really want to do too much defensively. And Iowa doesn't really want her to either. Just keep her out of foul trouble.
We've already seen that here with rebounds. Iowa, especially on their own offensive side, they are not really contesting for them whatsoever. But as you mentioned, they're so content to just go up the court, have Caitlin Clark launch one, and then come back and just try and make you score early or try and shoot early and hope that they'll be able to outscore you. What Michigan's doing, like you mentioned, is really effective because that's kind of Iowa's whole game plan. So they're playing out of their comfort zone.
You mentioned the weakness on the offensive glass for Iowa. Caitlin Clark, the prime offender there. We mentioned that she had a few triple-doubles this season. Clark averaging over 8 rebounds a game, but only 11 total offensive rebounds on the season out of 169 total rebounds. That means 158 of her rebounds coming on the defensive side, looking to grab it and just push out in transition.
Yeah, a lot of Iowa's fast break offense kind of relies on her just from the three-point line, shooting one, and then if it just doesn't go, then they're just turning and heading back. So it honestly makes sense why so many of those rebounds are defensive.
We saw a couple changes in the starting lineup for Iowa than their typical lineup. Number 14, McKenna Warnock, and number 24, Gabby Marshall, both starting this one out on the bench, usually in the starting rotation as far as statistically goes.
Yeah, Warnock is averaging about 11.7 points per game this season, so interesting that she wasn't in here to start.
Iowa will check it up. It'll be Caitlin Clark to bring the ball up the floor. Amy Dilk heads to the check-in table, will be the second substitution for the Wolverines today. Feuerbach now passes over to Taiwo. Taiwo driving to her right hand, now back to her left. Kick out. Martin wanted the shot, now it's going to hand off to Caitlin Clark with 10 seconds left in the shot clock. Dribbling to her right hand. Cameron Williams doing a great job on the hedge. Clark can't find anything, throws it off Elia's leg, and it'll stay Iowa ball, but they've only got 3.7 seconds left to work.
Yeah, that double team was very effective for the Wolverines. She had nowhere to go, literally trapped right by the bench, so I had them interface too.
Dilk checks in for Maddie Nolan. 3.7 seconds left. Pass gets inside to O'Grady, puts up an ugly-looking shot, and Danielle Roush pulls down the rebound. 4:23 left to play here. Michigan holds the 7-point lead. Felia now passes up top for Dilk. Swung over to Danielle Roush now. Bounce pass inside for Hillman. The double team comes, and it's going to be a turnover. Hillman's pass was tipped right into the hands of Kate Martin.
It's definitely something that could be a problem for the Wolverines, considering how much of Iowa's offense is fast break offense.
Little dribble move there, and a pass over to the side. It's going to be Tomi Taiwo from the three off the assist from Caitlin Clark. 14-10 now as two Hawkeyes and Emily Kaiser head to the check-in table.
Iowa is so content to just steal the ball from Michigan and launch some threes for this whole game.
Roush swings up top. Layla Felia for a three from the top of the key. No good. Tipped out of the hands of both teams. And now Caitlin Clark's going to come down in transition. Pass to the corner. Feuerbach wide open three. That one too far. O'Grady tries to pull down the rebound, but Roush takes it right out of her hand. And now the Wolverines out in transition. Bounce pass inside. Cameron Williams wide open layup and missed it. Williams had nobody on her back, but just couldn't convert from the left hand. 3 minutes left to play here. Wide open three from Martin, and Roush pulls down another rebound. 3 minutes left to play here in the first quarter as Dilk passes inside for Hillman. Hillman still has her dribble. Passes cross court for Felia. Now up top for Roush. Back inside Hillman. Up with the left hand strong, and she's going to be fouled. Foul goes against number 44, Addison O'Grady, her first.
Another place where Michigan has really been dominating the Hawkeyes here has been in just, pure which team's going to be more physical. Michigan's not afraid to kind of contend for that rebound. They'll go up and get it. Naz Hillman will bully you in the paint as much as you let her. Iowa doesn't really have anyone who's going to compare in that aspect.
Sydney Offelter and Monica Sonano both check back in for the Iowa Hawkeyes. In the terms of Michigan, Maddie Nolan and Elise Stuck check in. Emily Kaiser still there at the check-in table as Naz Hillman knocks down her free throws. And now we'll head to the bench. With those two, Hillman advances to 4 for 4 from the line today. Michigan up 16-10, 2:49 left to play here. Caitlin Clark, the All-American, has been pretty silent.
Iowa shooting 4 for 12 from the field right now.
As I say that, Clark takes a tough pull-up jumper and just rims out. Roush pushing in transition, pass inside for Kaiser, going up strong with the left hand through contact and gets it. Emily Kaiser's been a huge piece of this Michigan team. Just leaps and bounds more efficient than she has been in years past. Clark gets a ball screen, now spins back to her right hand. Maddie Nolan guarding the ball. Swung over to Kate Martin, driving with the right hand. Passes outside for Tomi Taiwo, and Emily Kaiser going to get called for a hold down low.
Michigan's defense doing a really good job. Obviously, they have the best defense in the Big Ten, but you can really see it here in how they're just making Iowa make these little mistakes. Anytime they try and get the ball inside, it's pretty much a no-go.
It'll be Clark to inbounds, down low on the baseline. Clock almost taking to 5, barely gets it off. Nice pass to Martin, and she goes up with the right hand to convert.
Martin leading the Hawkeyes with 7 points this game.
Pass up top, Nolan, now back to Dilk in the corner. Jabs left, now cross-court pass, Daniel Roush. Swings one more to Nolan. Now back to Roush in the corner, and there's going to be a foul called as Emily Kaiser got pushed from behind.
Has not been the best night for Iowa's bigs, both in terms of scoring and on the defensive side.
And that is a huge foul right there for Michigan as Monica Sonano picks up her second foul, and we're still in the first quarter. Addison O'Grady will check back in. Iowa coming out in a 2-3 zone look.
Sonano averages 20 points per game for the Hawkeyes, so they're definitely not happy about that whatsoever.
Pass to the high post from Amy Dilk, and a nice feed inside for Naz Hillman. The two seniors with the connection we've seen for their entire Michigan career, showing it off once more. 1:30 left to play here in the first quarter. Clark takes a tough pull-up jumper for 3. That one, an incredibly difficult shot.
When it rains, it pours, so I think we're going to see a lot more of those from her.
Pass inside Hillman, dribbles with the left hand, and up and good. A lot of contact from O'Grady, but Hillman didn't care. Clark showing off her dribble moves now, kicks to the outside. Swung over to Taiwo. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Clark doing a lot of movement without the ball. Passing over to Martin now. Back to Taiwo, who will pull a 3 from the corner. No good. And Hillman's going to pull down the rebound. Roush pushing in transition with under a minute left to play here. 22-15 is the score. Michigan out in front. Lob pass over to Roush. Cross-court pass. Maddie Nolan, wide open three. This one is good. Maddie Nolan with her second in the quarter.
Maddie Nolan is also, I mean, we've talked a lot about Caitlin Clark, but she's also such an elite scoring threat right now.
Maddie Nolan has made a case this year to be the best catch-and-shoot three-point shooter in the Big Ten, if not the country. Caitlin Clark going to dribble this one out. The shot clock is dead. 10 seconds left in the game clock in the first quarter. Dribbling with the right hand right on Maddie Nolan. Step back now. Cross to the left hand. Kaiser comes over. Difficult three. No good. Ball tipped around, and Michigan holds on strong. We head to the second quarter. The Wolverines up 25-15.
This is everything Michigan needed to do in this game. They kept Caitlin Clark silent until that she finally got that three. They've been able to play them defensively, and obviously that's one of their strengths, incredibly well. And then not to mention that right now Michigan, if you told me one of these teams was the best offensive team in the Big Ten, I would have told you it was Michigan. They look so good. They're going to keep feeding Nas. They're going to get that ball inside because Iowa has no answer for that.
Iowa, if you're Iowa, you have to get Caitlin Clark more looks. Only put up 5 shots in that first quarter, and a lot of them was just her creating her own space and getting up a difficult look. You got to start setting her some stagger screens and getting her some movement off the ball. Michigan's done a great job of just suffocating on the defensive end. We saw that trap right in front of the Michigan bench between Layla Felia and Cameron Williams.
And if you look at Caitlin Clark's statistics from most of her games this year, she shoots so much. And that's part of the reason why she's able to score so many points in all of her games, is because she'll put up 23-point shots if you let her. Iowa knows that. She's obviously their best player, so they need to do more with just getting her open or just letting her, launch them. Now that she's made one, they're gonna fall a bit easier for her. So it's just a matter of how well are they going to get her the ball and how well is Michigan going to do everything they can to stop that.
Michigan obviously has not forgotten about the last matchup between these two teams last year on February 25th at Iowa. Lost that one 89-67, and boy, did Caitlin Clark have a night. 27 points on 10 for 17 shooting, 7 from 12 from long range. Tossed in 5 rebounds and 9 assists as well.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark obviously has that talent to take over a game, and early on we haven't really seen it, but there's a lot of time left, a lot of time for her to do her thing, and now that she's going to be making those three-pointers, you never know what could happen. They could easily go on a little run, especially with Michigan's kind of nasty turnover habit from the last game.
Both teams as top 25 teams, obviously looking forward to March as it comes closer and closer. Both teams made the tournament last year. Both got bounced in the Sweet 16 round. Michigan as the number 6 seed, lost in overtime to Baylor. Iowa as the 5 seed, lost 92-72 against number 1 seed UConn. But the teams had the opportunity to meet had they both won those games, both situated in the Riverwalk region. As the horn sounds, we are coming out of the timeout. It'll be Iowa to inbound.
They need to get something going early on here, not to sound like a cliche, like you need to score early, but that really is going to be the difference for them if they want to not fall even further behind.
Pass into Clark. Now up to O'Grady on the elbow. Back out to Clark. Feely, a nice closeout. Nice hedge coming from Emily Kaiser. Double team. Pass to the corner. Open three. That one's good. Sydney Uffelter with her first of the night. Michigan wasting no time getting up in transition. Swung all the way around the horn to Amy Dilk. Cross-court pass. Maddie Nolan. One more to Layla Felia. And there's going to be a whistle. It's an offensive foul on Naz Hillman.
Yeah, I think it was Clark that kind of tripped over her a little bit, but they're looking for him tonight, so just unfortunate for Hillman.
Hillman throwing her head and hands back just right in front of the referee, showing her that Caitlin Clark is going to do that. Clark, fantastic at drawing fouls as she takes a tough jumper, air balls to the left side.
Iowa, my bad, has to take those threes because they have no inside option right now.
The thing with Caitlin Clark is she just has such great confidence. She could take 6 of those shots in a row, airball all 6.
And she'll take the 7th.
Exactly, and you know the 6th, 7th, and 8th are going up. Amy Dilk driving inside of the elbow. Lob pass up for Kaiser. Easy left-hand layup. Michigan answers back.
It's a very good day to be a Michigan big because you're going to get so many opportunities.
27-18. Clark driving with the right hand, getting all the way to the basket. Tough layup. Won't go. Looks like it's going to be O'Grady that tips it out of bounds. It'll be Kaiser to inbound. Michigan going the other way. Kate Martin heading to the check-in table. She will check in for Tomi Tywell.
Michigan fans yelling air ball at Caitlin Clark like she won't take that as a challenge.
Dilk pushing up now. Iowa's settled into a sort of 1-3-1 zone. Felia driving hard all the way to the middle. Loses it. Loose ball. Gets it back. Nice step through, and she's got a layup. Second chance bucket there for Layla Felia and the Michigan Wolverines.
It's what I mentioned earlier. The Wolverines are just out-hustling the Hawkeyes.
The lead now 11, 29-18 with 8:22 left to play in the half. Driving hard with the left hand and putting up a floater is Uffelter.
Iowa's been real unlucky in their shooting today. Still only shooting 33% from the field.
Nolan was looking for Naz Hillman inside, but he got tipped away. We mentioned that nasty turnover habit that Michigan has struggled with this year. Iowa working on the right wing, now driving. Kickback. Caitlin Clark, show shot, steps to her left, pulls up for 3. That one off the back iron. And then off the top of the rim and out of bounds.
Yeah, in any other game, Michigan turning the ball over would be almost a guaranteed opportunity for Iowa to score, but their shots just are not falling.
Danielle Roush will check in for Layla Felia, so it'll most likely be Maddie Nolan on the defensive end to match up with Caitlin Clark. Pass inside for Kaiser. Kick to the corner. Maddie Nolan, her 3rd 3 of the night. That one looked too far. Naz Hillman grabs a rebound and one.
Will give her 12th point of the game with the opportunity to get her 13th, and also just more proof that she is one of, if not the best player in the Big Ten right now, and one of the best players in the country.
Hillman looking to convert on the and one, leaves it a bit short, but Amy Dilk pulls down the rebound. Up with the right hand, and she's fouled as well. It's Kate Martin who caught her on the arm. She'll shoot 2 of her own.
Iowa playing a little sloppy right now. They can't be having all these fouls. It's been a big problem for them.
Crowd falls silent as Dilk puts up the first free throw. That one good. Michigan continuing to extend their lead, now on a 7-0 run in the last minute and a half, and make it an 8-0 run as Dilk knocks down that free throw. The score 33-18 with 7:30 left to play here in the half. Layla Felia heads to the check-in table. Ball swung all the way around the horn now. Pierbach passes to Clark. Working against Amy Dilk. Driving, pass inside for Sinano. Tough layup, and she gets it to go. Sinano loves to work over that left shoulder and go up with the right hand. We've seen it all year long, and why not just continue doing the same thing? Pass inside. Nice cut by Amy Dilk, and she's got a wide open layup.
Sinano is shooting 65% from the field this year, but has been in foul trouble this game.
Caitlin Clark working all the way inside to get an easy layup.
One of the reasons she's so good, too, is she's so adaptive. Like, she's seen that her 3 shot has not been working so far this game, so she'll go all the way in, and she'll take the easy 2.
Another foul called on Martin as she caught Emily Kaiser on the body as Kaiser was cutting to the basket. 2 substitutions. It's Felia and Cameron Williams checking in for Dilk and Kaiser.
Once again, Iowa having a bit of foul trouble.
Roush to inbound underneath. Looking for something. Gets it inside. Bounce pass to Felia. Iowa showing out in the 2-3 zone now. Michigan taking a second to adapt. 15 seconds left in the shot clock. Felia shows her shot, now dribbles right. Kick back, Manny on top of the key, all the way around. Danielle Roush driving hard, baseline, up with the right hand, and good. Danielle Roush filling out the stat sheet here today. 5 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and we're not even at halftime. Clark with a little hesitation, gets to her left hand, now passes outside for Taiwo. Swung around, Feuerbach now. Step back, kicks out to Martin. Guarded by Hillman, pass inside for Sinano. Swung out, Taiwo with 8 seconds left in the shot clock. Now to Clark, driving with the left hand, pull-up jumper from the elbow, and she's fouled. Got around Danielle Roush. Roush caught her on the back of the arm as she put that shot up.
Caitlin Clark has the third most free throws made in the country, so hopefully for her stats, she gets these.
Knocks down the first, advances the score 37-23. Clark, an 89.9% free throw shooter on the year as she knocks down the second. Playing at the statistics there. Roush bounce past to Felia in the corner. Now gets it back. One more to Felia, looking inside for Hillman. Dribbling with the right hand on Martin. Up with the right hand, fighting through a lot of contact. Williams pulls down the rebound, and she's got a right-handed layup of her own.
This is a perfect game for Cameron Williams because nobody is going to stop her if she bullies her way all the way down to the net.
Iowa has really struggled guarding teams' four-player, or realistically just their second big this year, as Williams is called for a foul. Caitlin Clark made her way around her. As I was saying, Iowa has really struggled defensively against teams' secondary big. Obviously, Sinano, one of the best players in the country, but she can't do it all herself.
Especially when Michigan has been so good about when they're in the paint, being able to sneak that second player inside and get them wide open.
Feuerbach to inbound, right next to Kim Barnes-Arico in front of the Michigan bench. Gets it into Clark, dribbles once with the right hand, now back to the left. Pull-up jumper, and she's going to be called from a travel.
Michigan's out-rebounding the Hawkeyes 17-5 in this game.
Feuerbach coming up in sort of a lone wolf full-court press. It'll be Felia to push in transition. Gets hit from behind. Just able to get a pass off to Naz Hillman. Roush now, a little hesitation, getting all the way to the basket. Tough layup off the back of the backboard. Somehow gets a pass off to Naz Hillman, who puts up a layup. No good. Ball batted all the way around. Felia had a chance at it, but Feuerbach, the one to pull it in. Pass up to Taiwo in transition, and Cameron Williams with a great hustle play in the defensive end to stop the open layup.
Michigan just looks like they want it more right now.
Pass inside, Williams, and she's got another layup. Defense to offense for the sophomore. Crisler Center is rocking here as Michigan continues to advance their lead. 41-24 with 4:20 left to play in the half. As Dilkin Kaiser head to the check-in table. Pass inside for Sinano, and she gets the and one.
The problem with Iowa not being able to score so far, or very well in this game either, is that they can't stop the bleeding. They aren't a defensive-heavy team. All they can do is outshoot you, and if they can't do that, which they haven't been able to in this game, they're going to fall pretty far behind.
We head to the media timeout as Iowa going on a little bit of a run here. 3 of their last 3 from the floor. But Michigan still holds a pretty comfortable lead here with 4:13 left to play in the half. 41-26. Naz Hillman leading the way for the Wolverines with 12 points. Danielle Roush with 7 rebounds already in the first half.
If you can see on that defensive side, nobody is even coming close to her when she's rebounding. She's been able to snatch all of them that have been in her vicinity, and no one's putting up much of a fight. She's doing really well down there.
Amy Dilk also tossing in 3 assists, being very productive as well. On the side of Iowa, Caitlin Clark leading the way with 9 points. Martin with 3 rebounds, and Clark with 5 assists, pacing the Hawkeyes.
The Hawkeyes, who normally shoot about 50%, only at 40 this game. 30% free throws, 3-point shooting. which is obviously not exactly what they want.
Michigan with 5 turnovers thus far, obviously 5 more than they would like, but they've been a lot more careful with the ball than they have in weeks past. Looking back at that game against Indiana, 17 turnovers in the first half.
They've also been lucky that Iowa hasn't been able to take advantage of any of them. When they try and turn around and, get their own offensive opportunity, they just haven't been able to make those shots.
4 minutes away from halftime. Coach Lisa Bluter is going to have to make some adjustments.
Yeah, Iowa's normal playing style just hasn't been enough in this game. You can't keep doing the same thing and expect it to work when you have no evidence that it's been working at all in this entire game.
We've mentioned a few times Michigan, the best defensive team statistically in the Big Ten. Niles Hillman, a huge part of that down low, just being an absolute menace. Emily Kaiser as well, all year long, has just been a rim defender and a great one at that. Layla Feely on the outside alongside Maddie Nolan, 2 great on-ball defenders. And that's a team like Iowa where, your defensive strategy, quote-unquote, is just to outscore the other team. On a night where you go cold, it could be a recipe for disaster.
Especially mentioning Michigan's defense, since Iowa has not had basically any success from any big that isn't Sonato. They're really dominating down there.
Speaking of Sonato, she'll shoot 1 free throw here, looking to convert the and 1 from before the timeout. That one up and good.
The Hawkeyes lead the country in free throw percentage, shooting about 85%.
Roush will dribble up with the left hand. Feuerbach coming up to provide pressure near half court. Swung over to Dilk now, driving one-on-one against Clark. Gets to the elbow, kick back outside. Emily Kaiser for 3. That one's good. Dilk tallies her 4th assist. Iowa wasting no time. Sinano running the floor, and a great pass from Caitlin Clark from up near half court to answer right back.
That's what the Wolverines absolutely do not want to let the Hawkeyes get going.
Kaiser now to Dilk. Looking to go the opposite way as Hillman grabs the rebound and puts it up. Iowa now pushing the tempo. Clark step back looking inside for Sinano, working back to her left hand, tipped away by Naz Hillman. And it'll be Iowa ball underneath.
The Hawkeyes just look like a better team with Sinano in there. They open up that paint, and pressure doesn't have to all be on their 3-point shooters.
Sinano with 2 fouls already in the first half. Has to be careful not to pick up a third as Feuerbach is called for a travel.
Michigan just doing absolutely everything right in this game, everything they need to do, playing Iowa exactly the way that, you play them if you're going to win.
Feuerbach still providing pressure up near half court. Hillman, handoff to Amy Dilk, working inside, gets to the elbow, kicks that back out. Kaiser showed her shot, didn't like it. Out to Dilk on the outside now. Bounce pass. Gets past the hands of Sinano into Naz Hillman. Back out to Dilk. Nice bounce pass into Kaiser. Working up with the left hand. Now back to the right. Won't get it to go. Tipped out of bounds. And great hustle play by Maddie Nolan. Diving out of bounds and tipping it back off the leg of Kate Martin.
And that has been such a huge part of why Michigan is so successful, is they just want it more. That play by Maddie Nolan, a perfect example. Just, making the extra effort to knock that ball off a Hawkeye and stay on the offensive side.
Elise Stuck will check in for Naz Hillman. 2:57 left to play here. Michigan still up 46-29. It'll be Dilk to inbound. Pass to the opposite corner to Roush. Under 20 seconds on the shot clock. Dilk with a nice touch pass to Maddie Nolan for 3. Rattles in and out. Clark pulls down the rebound, now pushing in transition on the left side. Right to left cross, sidestep, shoulder shot, now getting all the way to the basket, and a coast-to-coast layup for Caitlin Clark.
She'll take matters into her own hands all game.
Iowa 5 of their last 6 from the field. Now Roush driving hard with the right hand, fighting through contact from Sinano, and Elise Stuck's going to get called for an over-the-back foul.
if I was able to heat up, like you just mentioned, this could be a very different game in the second half, but unfortunately came kind of late here in the first, and even if they can get some momentum going, it's not going to be enough to erase the whole deficit.
With that foul, Iowa will be in the bonus, so Martin will go to the line and shoot 2. Sonano lucky not to pick up her third foul down there in the Danielle Roush layup. A lot of contact between the two.
Martin is tied with Sonano for the second leading scorer on the Hawkeyes, 7 points.
As you hear some "you will miss" chants from the Michigan band and the Maze Rage, Martin not phased. She knocks down the first.
Like I mentioned, Iowa's a really good free throw shooting team, so.
Martin's second free throw, too long. Tipped off the hands of 3 Wolverines, and Maddie Nolan finally able to rein it in. Just over 2 minutes left to play here. Dilk swings opposite side to Roush. Now cuts to the free throw line. Dribbles twice with the left hand, now driving baseline. Swung back out, Kaiser. 10 seconds on the shot clock now. Hand off, Maddie Nolan gets to the elbow. Kick back, Danielle Roush. She'll put up a 3. That one a bit too far. And Martin able to take the rebound out of Lee Stuck's hands. Caitlin Clark, sidestep 3, no good. Roush pulls down, another rebound.
Could have been another foul there on Sonano.
Danielle Roush now 8 rebounds in the first half. Dilk doing a nice job controlling the pace here. Passes up to Kaiser. Looks around, now hands off to Maddie Nolan, guarded by Tywell. Less than 10 seconds left in the shot clock. Another handoff intended for Dilk is poked out of bounds by Feuerbach. Hillman to check in for Stuck. Dilk to inbound from the side with 5 seconds left in the shot clock. Pass up top. Kaiser for 3 from the top of the key. Hits about every part of the rim before making its way out. Clark now pushing in transition, and it's going to be a foul called on Amy Dilk way up near half court. So Clark will shoot 2.
Clark, the only Hawkeye in double digits with 11.
Coach Kim Barnes-Arico will call a 30-second timeout with 1:16 left to play here in the half. It's a game of runs. Iowa 5 of their last 7. Michigan 0 for their last 5, but still holding that comfortable 14-point lead. 46-32 with 1:16 left to play here in Crisler Center. If you're just joining us, we would like to thank you for listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan women's basketball here on YouTube. We have a very impressive slate of games coming up this weekend. All sorts of basketball. Myself alongside Kellen Flynn will be down in Tampa, Florida, covering the opening softball tournament, the Rawlings USF Invitational.
WCBN has people going everywhere this week.
If you want to make sure to never miss one of our broadcasts, make sure to click that big rectangular subscribe button below the video feed and click that bell icon as well to be notified anytime we go live. 30-second timeout wraps up, and it'll be Clark to shoot 2. Takes a quick dribble and puts it up, not wasting any time. The first one converts. 4 Wolverines in the paint as Clark knocks down her second free throw, as we mentioned, just under a 90% free throw shooter. Roush hands off to Dilk. 1:06 left in the half. Pass to the corner for Roush. Looking inside, bounce pass Hillman. Squares up to the basket, fighting through contact. She gets it stripped out of her hands. Feuerbach pulls it down. Clark was the one who tipped it away. Clark now will push in transition. Crosses back to her left hand, and Amy Dilk just takes it away from her. Coach Kim Barnes-Arico is immediately in the referee's ear, asking for contact on the other end.
Really just impressive awareness by Dilk on that play.
Michigan in a 1-4 high set with 10 seconds left in the shot clock, 30 seconds left in the half. Dilk driving all the way to the basket, fighting through contact. Layup won't go. Hillman pulls down the rebound and gets it back up. Hillman with her 16th point of the half. With the shot clock dead, Caitlin Clark will most likely take the last shot here for the Hawkeyes. It's Nolan guarding the ball up near half court. Crisler Center is on its feet. 5 seconds left in the half. Clark tried to go behind the back, lost her dribble, pass inside, and there's going to be a foul called before Iowa can get a shot off. It's on the floor, so they'll get 2 free throws with half a second left. Unlucky break there for the Wolverines. They did a great job defensively, but Iowa gets bailed out by the foul call. Layla Fiolia will head to the bench. Check out Danielle Roush. What a first half it was for Roush. 5 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists. Addison and Grady will also check in for Sinano. Iowa doing a nice job just making sure Sinano doesn't pick up a cheap one here with only half a second left in the half.
I mean, you can tell how much they missed her on offense in this game, so not going to take any chances. She got into foul trouble early, and it really showed.
Martin knocks down the first of 2. Second one up and good. Michigan's lead now cut to 12, 48-36, with only half a second left in first half regulation here. Kaiser gets it into Dilk, who won't even bother putting up a shot as both teams head to the locker room. The Wolverines out in front, 42-36. And what a first half it was. For Michigan leading the way, Naz Hillman with 16 points. Danielle Roush, an incredible first half on the boards, racking up 8 of them. On the side of Iowa, it took them a while to get things sorted out, but eventually went 5 for their last 7 to close out the quarter. Clark leading the way with 13 points.
The Wolverines did everything they needed to do. Obviously, Iowa's such an elite offensive team, but you wouldn't know it from this game. Michigan's defense just stifling, and then the really impressive performance from Naz Hillman on the inside. 16 points in that first half, and she shows no signs of slowing down. They're going to have a really heavy adjustment. They mean the Hawkeyes, if they're going to want to keep her from being as dominant as she has been.
Michigan leading the way, pacing the pack. 23 rebounds to Iowa's 10. It's just been an impressive showing all the way around for the Michigan Wolverines. But with that, that is going to do it for first half coverage of Michigan women's basketball live here from Crisler Center. My name is Charlie Brigham. Alongside me, it has been Kendall Spencer. In the second half will be Adam Bressler. But until then, for the next 10 minutes, we'll leave you with a good night and go blue as the fan hits his first half-court shot. Just want to give him a quick shout-out. Knocks down the first one, nothing but net for the halftime half-court competition. But with that now, that will do it. We'll see you in 10 minutes. Hello and welcome everyone back to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan women's basketball. We're just about set ready to go for second half coverage. Just 3 minutes until the final horn sounds to bring us out of halftime. My name is Charlie Brigham, alongside me now Adam Bressler. And Adam, looking back at that first half, what a first half it was. The Wolverines up 48-36 coming into half number 2. Naz Hillman pacing away with 16 points for the Wolverines.
Yeah, Michigan has a lot to be excited about, a lot to be proud about from that first half. Mainly the offense, in particular the rebounding too, and just fighting for every ball, the hustle. Michigan on every possession was trying to get it in the basket, and when it didn't go in, they were hustling to the paint to try to scoop it up. And I know it's cliche, but it just felt like Michigan wants this more. They were hustling in ways that Iowa wasn't really as much, and I think that's been the difference. My one concern for the Wolverines in the second half is the turnovers, especially late in that second quarter. Michigan had a pretty commanding lead, double digits, and then kind of got sloppy and let Iowa kind of inch back in it. They still have a 12-point lead, so certainly in the commanding position, but those turnovers might be the only thing to change in this second half.
You mentioned the rebounding. Michigan leading the way with 23 total rebounds to Iowa's 10. And Michigan's leading rebounder, an unexpected one, Danielle Roush, 8 first-half rebounds. Danielle putting on an impressive display on both the offensive and defensive glass. Minute 30 left to play until we are set to go. Interesting to see what halftime adjustments Coach Lisa Bluter made. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan women's basketball live here on YouTube. We'd like to thank you for tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure to click that subscribe button underneath the video feed and click that bell icon to be notified anytime you go live so you never miss a broadcast. Also follow us over on WCBN Sports 2 on YouTube as well. We have a huge slate of games coming up this weekend.
We'll make use of both channels this week.
Absolutely. Myself alongside Kellen Flynn will be heading on down to Tampa, Florida to cover the USF Rawlings Invitational, the Michigan softball opening tournament of the year. It'll be interesting to see what Coach Carol Hutchins can do on Michigan's search for back-to-back Big Ten titles.
Yeah, this softball team has a lot to be excited about. Mainly Storako is just such an electric player from the bump. In addition to those 4 games, we'll be in Detroit at Little Caesars Arena for the Michigan State hockey game. And then myself and Kendall, who did the first half, will be going to Evanston, Illinois, as the women's basketball team takes on the Northwestern Wildcats. So lots of coverage, lots of things to be excited about the coming week on WCBN.
Coach Kim Barnes-Arico talking with her starting 5. It'll be the same starting 5 that started the first half. Naz Hillman, Maddie Nolan, Layla Felia, Danielle Roush, and Emily Kaiser. We mentioned a bit in that first half, Emily Kaiser having an incredible year. You know, we saw the video that played with her and Danielle Roush that kind of, pushed that narrative of stay and you will become champions. And, Emily Kaiser and Danielle Roush embody that better than anybody else. Didn't see much playing time their first 3 years of the program, and now 2 key pieces in this starting lineup.
Yes, and look, just each of them have a 3. They're really good on offense, but the special thing from Roush is the rebounds. 8 rebounds alone in the first half, 7 of them on defense. It's got to be one of the reasons why Michigan's up by so much.
In addition to the starting lineup, the reinforcements for Michigan have been incredible as well. Cameron Williams, Elise Stuck, and Amy Dill coming off the bench. Iowa only has 7 active players tonight. So interesting to see how things shake up here in the second half. Nolan up top, passes to Danielle Roush in the right wing as things are getting going here in half number 2. Over to Felia, looking for Kaiser inside, can't get anything. Drives baseline now. Pass back out to Roush. Inside for Hillman, gets hugged by Sinano, but still able to put it up and in. Sinano avoiding the foul call there. Clark, little kickback pass to Martin. Now swung to Taiwo. Back up top for Feuerbach, working one-on-one against Danielle Roush. Crosses over to the right hand now, Martin up top. Pass inside for Sinano, and it's going to be a jump ball called. Maddie Nolan right there to wrap her up.
That's what I was talking about. Michigan fighting on every play, not giving up any easy points. Iowa had the possession arrow, but at least with that, it'll flip it for the future.
Clark inbounds, now gets it right back, driving to her right hand, puts up a layup, but too short. Gets her own rebound. Now takes a tough sidestep dribble pull-up from the elbow, and Kaiser pulls down the rebound. Roush to push in transition. Hillman gets in right away and sits on Sinano, who gets called for a foul early.
Hillman is so polished as a player. She knows how to, the subtleties of getting calls like that. And it might not seem like much, but it adds up, especially late in the game and a close one.
Hillman, a projected top 5 WNBA draft pick after this season, passes over to Felia, who drives baseline now, and it gets tipped away. Martin right there with the active hands.
Yeah, and it seems like Hillman's stock just keeps rising this season.
Roush to inbound, quick pass inside for Maddie Nolan. Dribbles once with the left hand, up and under with the right, and it's good. Nolan now with 8 points. Clark trying to push the tempo. Gets to her left hand, spins back to her right. Tough layup, won't go. Kaiser grabs the rebound, and now the Wolverines out and running. Felia, hesitation, back to her right hand, getting all the way inside, and it's going to be a charge call.
Went to the ground for a moment there, but offensive call. Michigan was in the bonus in that second quarter, so it's something I'll be keeping an eye on if they made any adjustments in that respect.
The freshman did a nice job pushing the tempo, but just a little bit out of control down there by the low block. 52-36 with 8:30 left to play here in quarter number 3. Pass inside for Sinano, and Emily Kaiser's called for a hold. Both Kaiser and Coach Rico unhappy with that one, as Kaiser's hands were just up in the air. Sinano was just pushing her backwards. Sinano's strength just gets her the call there. Martin driving all the way inside for Hillman, who catches her on the arm, and now she'll shoot 2.
And like that, Michigan already with several fouls early in this third quarter.
Wolverines not really in foul trouble. Couple players with 2. Martin puts up her first free throw, and that one's good. 52-37, 8:17 left to play here in the third quarter. Martin can't find the bottom of the net on her second free throw. The Michigan band behind the backboard making an impact. Felia passes inside for Hillman. Drop step, drives to the right hand, puts up a layup. Too far, Kaiser hit from behind, but Felia able to come inside and clean up the rebound. Roush drove to her left hand, now pulls it back out. Gets to the top of the key, over to Felia. Felia now looking inside for Kaiser, squares up. Hits a cutting Felia, layup up with the left hand, no good. Hillman puts up a rebound. Her shot no good, but Felia able to clean it up and put it in.
Look at that persistence. Michigan was not going to give it up without getting points.
Feuerbach had an open layup, but missed it on the left-hand side. Roush now out and running in transition. Pass up to Felia. Driving inside, easy layup, and that one's good. 56-37. The tempo picking up here. Clark looking for Sinano inside, working one-on-one against Kaiser. Nice turnaround jumper. (56-39). As exciting as the last 45 seconds have been, if you're Michigan, you just can't keep up with this against a very good Iowa team who just likes to push the tempo. We saw them do a really nice job in the first half of just keeping the game at their own pace and slowing down that tempo. Clark's going to come off a handoff. Now pass over to Taiwo. Kick back up to Martin up top. 13 seconds left in the shot clock. Martin now driving against Hillman as she hits the deck. Layup off the right side of the backboard. Roush now kicks up. No one had an open look, decided to pass it up. Pass inside Hillman, who's fighting through all sorts of contact. And it looks like the ball's going to go off of Emily Kaiser's foot.
The crowd does not like that lack of a call. It was close, but Michigan fans, the hometown crew, trying to put their thumb on the scale.
There aren't many players in the Big Ten who can stack up to Hillman physically, but Sonano might be one of them. Martin dribbling on the right side now, hands it off to Clark. Showed her shot on the pull-up jumper, decided to kick it back. 10 seconds left in the shot clock. Clark trying to get inside. Pull-up jumper from the elbow. And Maddie Nolan pulls down the rebound. Pushing up in transition now. Felia getting all the way to the basket. That's going to be a block called. Felia will shoot 2. Feuerbach stood in and tried to take the foul, but she was both moving and in the restricted area. Two substitutions come in, one for both teams, all fodder for the Hawkeyes. Cameron Williams will give Naz Hillman a break. Amy Dilk sitting at the check-in table. She will check in for Layla Felia.
As a freshman, Felia brings a lot of promise to this future of the program. Already has 9 with that made free throw, potentially 10 right here.
Felia averaging just under 7.5 points a game. As her second free throw drops, she's now in double digits. 58-39 with just under 6 minutes left to play here in the third quarter. Clark, hesitation, getting all the way to the basket. Kaiser doing a nice job walling up there. It's going to be a foul called on Maddie Nolan as Allfutter pulled down the rebound.
Already 4 fouls this quarter. Michigan has a pretty commanding lead, 19 points, but I'm afraid if Iowa has any window left to come back in this game, this will be the pathway.
First free throw up and good. As Kendall mentioned in the first half, Iowa a very good free throw shooting team, now 10 for 11 on the night. Second to cut the lead to 17, drops in. Dilk now will push up on the offensive end. Pass to Nolan on the right wing, dribbles it down a little bit more. Now up to Cameron Williams. Hand off Dilk, jumper deep 2. Hits the backboard. Williams pulls down the rebound, spins back up with the right hand, and good. Sonano tried to get a piece of it, but her arms just weren't long enough. I want to talk about signs of a true player. The All-American Naz Hillman is over there on the bench getting some rest, but she is still completely locked into this game, celebrating as Cameron Williams gets that bucket. Iowa puts up a 3. Kaiser pulls down the rebound. Now the Wolverines are headed the other way, and that's a foul call.
Both teams right there racking up the fouls. 5:05, so shortly before the media timeout will take effect. Guess like the next stop of clock, it'll come on in.
Dilk to rebound from right in front of her own bench. Passes into Nolan. Up at the top of the key, dribbles over, looking for Kaiser inside. Elects to kick it back to Dilk. Swung all the way around the horn to Roush now. Calls for the ball screen, gets one from Kaiser. Now gives it right back. Roush gets a handoff, dribbling with her left hand. Kick to Dilk, driving with the right hand now towards the middle, loses her dribble. Somehow manages to get it back. Roush puts up a shot at the end of the shot clock, and it's going to be a trip call.
That was great moves, just trying to get it out. Even before the penalty, Michigan would have had a shot at the ball. It would have been a good one, but they would have gotten something up. And
that foul will reset the shot clock back to 20 as we head into the media timeout. Michigan holding a comfortable lead, 60-41 with 4:40 left to play.
This has to be a pretty special day for Dilk, the senior for Michigan. She's playing against Taiwo, who is a high school teammate, senior for Iowa. Both went to Carmel High School in Carmel, Indiana. Dilk was Miss Indiana senior year, and Taiwo was right beside her. So both went to the Big Ten, and they play against each other twice a year. So that's got to be pretty special when it happens.
What a year it's been for Amy Dilk. Went down in the first minute of the first regular season game this year for the Wolverines with a knee injury. Was out for a number of weeks, came back and has settled into a role of more of a backup point guard as opposed to the starting role she's held for the past few years, but it hasn't crushed her spirit at all. Has came back as a very good team player and a very, very good defender for Michigan. She doesn't do much that shows up on the stat sheet, but she's just so long that she can just cut off players before they get to their spot.
You know it, and it's great for positioning too and ball movement. You talked about in the first half how Michigan was so great at controlling the pace of play and the game tempo and the game flow. So much of that comes through these intangibles that don't really show up on the box score.
There's an ad for the Michigan Softball Academy on April 28th. Pops up on the Jumbotron. Would like to remind you all one more time that WCBN will be in Tampa, Florida this weekend. Myself and Kellen Flynn covering the USF Rawlings Invitational, Michigan's inaugural tournament of the year. WCBN will be covering 4 games, 2 on Friday, 2 on Saturday. The Friday matchups, Kansas City and Illinois State on Saturday, the marquee matchup of the weekend. Number 7 Florida, and follow that up by the hosting USF Bulls.
Florida and Michigan, they compete in this tournament every year. It's always a highlight of the early season for Michigan softball. I'm just quite jealous that you'll be in the sun while I'll be driving to Evanston on I-94. Not looking forward to that drive.
Dilk inbounds with a fresh 20-second shot clock. Gets it right back, calls for a ball screen from Williams, working to her left hand. Kickback pass was intended for Maddie Nolan, but a little bit too wide, and Dilk turns it over. That one really the first unforced turnover for Michigan of the night. Clark passes inside, gets it back, now kicks outside. Open 3, airballed, falls right into the lap of Cameron Williams. 4:15 left to play here in the third quarter. Hillman heads to the check-in table. Nolan in the right corner. Now dribbles all the way back up top. Picks up her dribble now, looking for something. Bounce pass inside for Williams, doing a nice job coming back to the ball. Kicks back outside. Maddie Nolan, her three's good. That one, Nolan's third 3 of the night. Iowa looking to answer back. Pull-up jumper from the elbow. Won't go, but pulling it down is Martin. Taiwo working against her former teammate Amy Dilk. Beats her left hand layup. Rims out. Kaiser pulls down the rebound. Dilk now pushing in transition. Kicks to Nolan. Another 3. Why not? Maddie Nolan!
Wow.
As Iowa's going to call timeout. Michigan back up to a huge lead of 25 points.
Incredible. Iowa had no choice but to take that timeout. This is Michigan's offense at its best. Inside, they could get at you with Hillman, even Hillman on the bench there. But on the outside, they make you take them seriously. Going for the 3. Nolan, Roush, Kaiser, all of them great from shooting. And when they get hot, they could light it up. We saw earlier in the year with, it was Nolan who got 7 threes in one game. Already 4 in this one. It could maybe duplicate that if she has a strong fourth quarter.
You mentioned Hillman's incredible interior offense, and just spacing out shooters around her is a great recipe for success that Coach Kim Barnes-Arico has cooked up. You mentioned names like Danielle Roush and Emily Kaiser, the premier shooter of that bunch, Maddie Nolan. 5 for 7 from the field tonight with 4 threes, coming on 4 of 6 from downtown, tossing 4 rebounds as well. And Maddie Nylon's having a night.
And with so many threats, you can't really double team anyone. You're not going to leave Hillman alone in the inside, no way. And then you got 3 threats from outside too with, for you just mentioned. Michigan is posed to be a really potent offense. And if they go far in March and potentially into April, that's going to be the pathway they take.
Amy Dilk getting credit for the assist there and the three-pointer from Maddie Nolan. That's now her 5th of the night. Tied for a team high alongside the other point guard, Danielle Roush. That's something you love to see, point guards moving the ball around. As this media timeout just about ready to wrap up, Michigan holds that huge lead, 66-41, with 3:15 left to play in the third quarter. Michigan's last scheduled game was supposed to be against Illinois earlier this week, but a snowstorm postponed that one, so all focuses shifted to Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes.
I'd like to remind the listeners, this is the 21st ranked team in the nation. Coming into this game, they only had 2 Big Ten losses. Michigan is making them look like Rutgers, like Illinois. They're completely dominant. I get that it's at home and the Maze Rage came out tonight. But this is a huge win for KBA, Hillman, and the rest of the Wolverines.
Michigan won in the 5-6 matchup against Indiana last week, looking to add another top 25 win to their resume today. Felia guarding Clark on the left wing. Right to left cross, getting the elbow, fighting through contact, up and good. Tough bucket from Caitlin Clark there. Felia picks up her second foul there. As Feuerbach heads to the check-in table, she will come in for Tywell.
We got Clark shooting this 15 points on the game, leading the Hawkeyes, second only to Hillman, making that one.
Makes it 5 for 5 from her on the night from the line. Pass over to Felia, intended for Hillman, who got pushed in the back. Saizano gets away with one there. Clark with a tough transition pull-up jumper from way outside near the logo. Sanano and Williams banging around down low as Maddie Nolan gets called for a foul. Clark cutting hard to the basket. Nolan tried to jump the passing lane, but caught her on the body.
Clark going back to the line again, perfect so far. She's averaging 26 points per game on the season, only at 16 right now. So it's not out of the question that she could potentially match or even surpass the season average. But Hillman, on the other hand, 18 points so far, only 2 away from breaking her season average.
Roush and Kaiser check in for Nolan and Williams. 2 more from the line for Clark. And the lead cut down to 20. 66-46 here in Crisler Center with 2:38 left to play in the third quarter. Dilk swings it over to Roush, looking inside for Kaiser. Kicks it back out to Dilk. We'll get it right back. 15 seconds left in the shot clock. Nice left-handed pass over to Roush. Gives it right back. Over to Felia. Had an open look. Decides to drive baseline. Up. Tough finish from the freshman. Around Sanano. 2 minutes left to play here in the third quarter. Clark, step back jumper from 3. That one's good.
I know there's another quarter left, but it feels like too little too late at this point.
A quick whistle on a jump ball. Michigan fans unhappy with the quick whistle. It's going to be Michigan basketball.
We have some fans standing up courtside talking to the ref. That's dangerous. You see that in the NBA. Can't say that I've seen much of that in college.
Inbounds pass gets in cleanly to Felia. Dilk gets it back, now inside Hillman. Kicked outside, back to Felia. Driving left, pull-up jumper. Just misses. That one looked like it dipped below the rim and still somehow managed to roll its way back out. Clark trying to push in transition. Pass now into Sanano, and Hillman blocks it.
Big time block from Hillman. tips off her and goes out of bounds, but Iowa's going to get the inbound with 19 on the clock.
No shot clock reset. Michigan didn't have full control. We're going to have a quick whistle, and they're going to ask to wipe up some sweat from the floor.
Maze Rage gives the sweat guy a standing O, chanting MVP. I guess they wouldn't be able to play without him, so they're not wrong.
Michigan 4 of their last 5 from the field. Iowa just 2 for their last 11. Driving left is Feuerbach. Pass inside was intended for Sinano, and a late whistle as Amy Dilk gets called for a foul. KBA just has to turn her back and air her frustrations to the bench.
I like how similar KBA and Howard are and just how animated they are on the sidelines. They're up at the check-in table yelling when they're mad. When they're disappointed, they turn their back on their players.
Both of Sinano's free throws are good, so Iowa has cut the 20-point deficit. Now Iowa coming out in a 2-3 zone. Long cross-court pass for Felia. Quick back up to Dilk, gives it back to Felia in the corner. Driving middle, trying to get a paint touch here. Outside, Rouse, shoulder shot. Dribbles back towards the middle. Michigan, a lot of movement on the outside. Felia, hard take to the basket, fighting through contact, and her layup just off the right side of the rim. Only a minute left to play here in quarter number 3. The Michigan lead still pretty big as there's a travel called on Feuerbach, Hillman, and Dilk right there just swallowing everything up.
If Michigan plays their cards right, they could maybe force the final possession here. 57.3 left in the quarter.
Roush gets it up to the three-point line. 20 seconds left in the shot clock. Dilk working one-on-one against Clark, who just takes it right away from her. Pass up to Taiwo in transition. Hillman gets back, blocks it. Iowa able to recover and get it back. Kicks back outside for Taiwo, who takes a deep 3 over Hillman and gets it to go. Tomi Taiwo with the 3 there. Now 6 points on the night, but Michigan will be able to take the last shot of quarter number 3. 14 seconds left on the game clock. Michigan holds a 14-point lead. Game clock now down to 10. Pass inside for Kaiser. Across, Danielle Roush with 5 seconds left. That 3 ball, no good. Hillman pulls down the rebound, gets it up right before the buzzer, and it goes!
20 points on the day for Naz Hillman. You'll be seeing that in the postseason highlight reel. Picks it up with a second left, almost slams it back in. 70-54 at the end of the third.
KBA has been chirping in the ref's ear all night long. Wanted a foul called there on the last one on Hillman. Had to fight through all sorts of contact. So we head to the fourth quarter. Michigan with a comfortable lead, 70-54.
During this intermission, I have a question for you. So Monday, as you obviously know, and maybe our listeners remember, Michigan had a very dominant win against the previously 5th-ranked Indiana. Now they're making work of the 21st-ranked Iowa. Those were the only 2 games they got to play because the Illinois one got postponed. I'm wondering, where do you think they end up after the rankings get re-released?
Barring anything crazy that happens in the top 4 teams, I think the highest Michigan can get right now is number 5. You know, I would say they could get as high up to number 4, but currently sitting in the number 4 spot is Louisville, who, as you remember, Adam, when we were down there in Louisville, Kentucky earlier this year, put a hurting on the Michigan Wolverines. Currently, as it sits, the AP Top 25 has not yet been updated since the Indiana game, but it's South Carolina 1, Stanford 2, NC State 3, Louisville 4, Indiana 5, and Michigan 6. that will likely change as Indiana, we mentioned, dropped that one to Michigan earlier in the week.
It's incredible seeing these storied NCAA women's basketball programs and have Michigan right in the thick of it with all of them. It's I don't think it's too much of a stretch to say this is the best Michigan's team has ever been in program history, and they just keep on looking better and better. Gonna roll into Indianapolis, hopefully, with the 1 seed in the Big Ten tournament, and then potentially, at the moment, they could be a 1 or a 2 seed in the March Madness. That would be huge, too, because I believe they get a home game if they're that highly ranked in March Madness. I can only imagine how loud and raucous Crisler Center will get if they have a March Madness game up in Ann Arbor, Maze Rage coming out. They might have to lift the curtains and fill up the whole grandstand.
Maze Rage doing a nice job, as you mentioned, showing back out. The social media push to get fans at that Indiana game was as strong as it ever has been, and the Maze Rage has not disappointed since then. Filling out the stands, a little lighter than it was against Indiana, but still higher number than usual. The horn sounds, and we are set to go. Both teams break their huddles, and we're about ready for fourth quarter action. Martin inbounds to Clark, and we are rolling. Hawkeyes have just 10 minutes to come back from this 70-54 deficit, and that's a foul called as Kaiser again called for a hold down low.
Not the way to start up the last quarter.
That's Kaiser's third. Maddie Nolan will quick check in for Amy Dilk. Sonano, a much more physical player than Kaiser. So we're going to have another whistle to wipe up sweat from in front of this near basket. Quick scoring recap. Hillman leading the way for the Wolverines with 20. Maddie Nolan with 14. Felia with 12. And on the side of the Hawkeyes, Caitlin Clark leading the way with 21. Speaking of Clark, set to inbound. Gets a nice little lob pass to Sonano, who knocks down the jumper from the mid-post. Pass up in transition for Felia. Now gets it into Hillman. Trap coming. Up top to Roush. Swung over to Felia. Showed a pass fake, but nobody bites. Driving now with the left hand. Getting inside. Kick back way up top for Roush. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Roush now kicks. Felia shows her shot. Now pulls up for three. Leaves it short. Clark will push in transition. Gets to the mid-post. Nice floater with the right hand, and that one goes.
Clark is really adding to her box score late in the game, but at this point, it's not looking like it'll make much of a difference. It is a 12-point game, though, so not to count it out of the question.
Felia with a hard take to the right hand, fighting through all sorts of contact coming from Martin. Michigan doing a nice job slowing the pace there. Clark wanted the pull-up jumper, and her pass is tipped. And a foul call. That one most likely going to be on Maddie Nolan. It'll be her third.
Just as you called, it was assigned to Nolan. That was a tough one, too. Tyro just hit the ground.
An errant pass from Clark had three players, two Wolverines running for it. Inbounds pass now swung up to Tywo, who gets it back to Clark. Looking inside for Sonano. Hillman doing a nice job coming over to provide some support to Emily Kaiser. Tywo kicks over. Now Sonano passes back up top. Tywo from way downtown. That three way off the mark. But Iowa right there to reel it in and put it back up. Now a 12-point game, 72-60, with 8:12 left to play here in quarter number 4. Hillman comes over and sets a ball screen for Feely. Gets all the way to the basket, fights through contact, hits the ground. Hillman pulls down a rebound, and she gets fouled by Sonano. She'll shoot 2 free throws.
Almost made the and one, too, just unable to go in. 20 points already, potentially 22 on the line.
Sonano will have to head to the bench here with 4 fouls. crowd falls quiet here in Crisler as Hillman shooting the first of two. That one good. You hear the clap. Hillman spins the ball a few times, looking to make it a 14-point lead, and she does. 74-60 here with 8 minutes left to play in Crisler. Clark swats away Felia's hand, now dribbling back up to the top of the key. Inside O'Grady. Comes over and sets a ball screen for Martin now. Martin driving with her left hand on Hillman all the way to the basket. And that layup off the front of the rim. Roush running in transition, passes up to Nolan. Now inside Hillman, working to her right hand. It's going to be a jump ball called. Hillman tried to spin to the middle.
I did not see that jump ball. That looked more like a foul to me, if anything.
Possession arrow stays with the Wolverines, so they'll rebound underneath with 19 seconds left in the shot clock. Couple cross screens here. Bounce pass inside for Maddie Nolan. Goes up within. They're going to say went off her leg as it gets swatted away. .7:33 left to play. Michigan holds a 14-point lead. Dilk heads to the check-in table. Clark, dribble handoff to Martin. Now gets it back. And inside, that's going to be a foul called on Emily Kaiser. And that one unlucky. You can hear the boos from the crowd here in Crisler Center. That one Kaiser's fourth. Clark initiated the contact and then just threw her head and shoulders back.
KBA's up at half court talking to the ref.
You've seen three different Wolverines and Coach Kim Barnes-Arico do that same move, showing off as that's going to be an offensive foul card on Clark as she pushes off Felia to create space for her jumper.
That's huge right there, and it gets the crowd amped up again.
Williams checks in for Kaiser, who will head to the bench with 4 fouls.
That might be the last we see of Kaiser this game.
7:15 left to play here in this one. 14-point lead for the Wolverines. And they're just looking to slow down the pace of the game here. Pass intended for Williams. Clark jumps the passing lane in transition, and she's got an easy right-handed layup. The lead now back to 12.
That's the 25th point for Clark.
You know, we mentioned that Clark doesn't do too much on the defensive end. One thing she does do is anticipate passes really well. Most of her points in transition from the defensive end come on her jumping passes like that.
It's a great skill to have. You might not be the best at blocking shots or stealing, but if you could predict where it's going to go, you just see it's practically free points. Michigan uses their second timeout, so they have 2 remaining. Iowa has 3. And 6:53, Michigan up by 12.
Both teams in a bit of foul trouble here. Sonano on the bench for the Hawkeyes with 4 fouls. Kaiser on the bench with 4 of her own for Michigan.
That's huge for Michigan to sideline Sonano. 13 points in this game, too, and just feels like a playmaker all throughout the game.
With under 7 minutes left to play here, if you're the Michigan Wolverines, you just have to go back to what you were doing at the start of this game, slowing down the tempo, and you just can't trade baskets. You have to get stops. We mentioned at the start of this one, Iowa averaging over 84 points as a team during games this year. And a lot of that just comes on them pushing transition. They want to win more so in shootouts than games where they just have to grind it out defensively. Both Coach Kim Barnes-Arico and Coach Lusa Bludier just talking things through with their teams here. As I mentioned, under 7 minutes left to play. Michigan, a team who led by as much as 25 at one point, has had their lead cut in half. 74-62.
Yeah, Iowa's played very good coming into this fourth quarter. I don't think it'll be enough to come out with the win, but it will make the stat line a little bit closer than probably they played and probably what they would deserve. But fighting for it at the end here. Padding the stats, we got 25 already from Clark, and that is one less than her season average, so very close to topping that.
Michigan breaks their huddle. It's going to be Roush, Dilk, Nolan, Williams, and rounding it out, Naz Hillman. For Iowa, it's Tywell, Offalter, Martin, Clark, and O'Grady. From one wing to another, it's Dilk with the ball now. Passing back to Danielle Roush, dribbling with the right hand, working against Clark. Bounce pass inside for Hillman. Jumping the passing lane and tipped out of bounds. That's going to stay Michigan ball.
And you mentioned like not trading baskets, but up by 12 with 6:37. As long as you could just maintain that lead, that should be enough.
Dilk gets the inbounds pass into Hillman. Roush now with a wide open catch and shoot three. Won't go, and it's a foul call the opposite way. An over the back foul called on Cameron Williams, who went up for the rebound.
Already 4 team fouls in this fourth quarter.
Clark working against Nolan. Gets back outside and swings it all the way around. Now coming off a stagger screen, gets it back. Has the ball up near the logo. Now goes to the dribble with 10 seconds left in the shot clock. Tywell pushing through. Horns action. Clark splits it. One-legged pull-up jumper from the elbow, and that one falls. The lead now just 10 for the Wolverines. I want to talk about a player who can single-handedly take over a game. It's number 22 in pink right now. Dilk gets a ball screen from Williams on the left wing. Dribbles all the way inside with the right hand. Now throws a cross-court pass to Roush. Drives baseline, 5 seconds left in the shot clock. A little hesitation. Roush puts up a right-handed floater, won't go. Williams pulls down the rebound.
They need to slow it down. Oh, and a foul called.
Michigan lucky there. That one definitely could have been called the jump ball. Dilk will head to the bench. Felia checking in. That foul, Iowa's third of the quarter, so Michigan 2 away from being in the bonus.
Michigan is sneakily at a scoring drought the last 2 minutes, 36 seconds of game clock.
Felia works back to her right hand. A tough layup from the freshman, and the lead back up to 12. O'Grady running in transition, and Iowa answers right back. Sonano and Kaiser, both with 4 fouls, head to the check-in table together. Williams sets a ball screen for Felia, driving to her right hand. Now goes back to the left. Pull-up jumper from the middle of the lane. And what a game the freshman's having. She's got 18. Clark way downtown. That one's good from out near the logo.
That was a heat check, and she is on fire.
The lead now single digits for the Maize and Blue.
First time since the first quarter the lead has been this close.
Roush, bounce pass inside for Hillman, working to a left shoulder, fighting through contact, and one.
Wow. If Clark is taking the Hawkeyes on her back, I guess Hillman's going to carry the Wolverines to the finish line. Up by 11 now, potentially 12 with this shot coming our way.
Kaiser and Sonano, both with 4 fouls, check in. O'Grady and Williams are going to head to the bench. Hillman, 24 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists. Looking to make it 25 here with a free throw. That one rattles in. She's now 7 for 8 from the night. Clark pushing in transition, wasting no time. Sidestep, showed her shot. Now passes over. Martin driving with the right hand. Hillman pulls down the rebound.
Michigan should slow it down. Use all 30 seconds of the shot clock.
Felia on the left wing gets a screen from Hillman. Driving downhill against Sonano. Up with the right hand. And why not? 20 ball from the freshman, Layla Felia. Clark, fake dribble handoff, gets inside, and Naz Hillman blocks it, but it's called for the foul late.
Wow, I'm going to have to see that replay. Even if it was a foul, it was an incredibly athletic play. That didn't even look like any contact. Wow. You could hear the fans agree.
Clark, first free throw won't go, the 90% free throw shooter.
Ball don't lie.
Second one drops down. Michigan's lead now just 13. Checking in is Feuerbach. She'll send Martin to the bench.
Hillman with 9 rebounds, close to the double-double.
Filia gets the ball screen from Kaiser to her right hand. Now dribbles back with the left. Kicks over to Roush. Wanted the bounce pass inside for Kaiser. Got tipped away. Kaiser able to come up and grab it. Filia driving inside with the right hand. Gets bodied, and it's going to be a block called. And now Michigan is in the bonus. Filia will shoot 2.
3:36 remaining. Michigan has a chance to put it at 15. This is exactly how Michigan needs to close out this game. Filia having a career game so far. 20 points and 4 rebounds.
Filia knocks down her first free throw. We mentioned before the game that with Leah Brown out, somebody would have to step up and be the second premier scoring threat behind Hillman. And Filia has done that today. Second free throw hits the back iron. So Filia goes 1 for 2 from the line. Clark now up in transition. A little hesitation. Gets all the way to the basket. And an easy layup there, calling for a foul call.
33 for Clark.
Pass inside. Finds Hillman. Hits a cutting Emily Kaiser, who goes up, and she's fouled. Kai Wo caught her on the arm. So the senior Kaiser will go to the line and shoot 2 now.
3:17, Michigan up by 12.
Another quick stoppage of play to wipe up some more sweat right in the Big Ten logo in front of the free throw line. Mentioned career day, Layla Filia, 21 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Kaiser's first free throw attempt off the left side of the rim. Kaiser looking to convert on number 2, and she does. She's 1 for 2 from the line. Filia picking up full court now. Clark crossing back over to the left, pulls up a 3 from the logo and drains that one too.
This is like NBA 2K. These are the most absurd shots, and they're just like a magnet right into the rim.
Clark with 36 now, and the lead cut to 10 with under 3 minutes to play. Pass over to Filia from Kaiser. Hillman sets her a ball screen. Filia trying to get all the way to the rim. Back to the left hand. Hits Kaiser for a short pull-up jumper. That one good from the senior. Clark now coming in transition with a full head of steam. Looking to make something happen. Falls down, keeps her dribble, and Iowa calls timeout.
Fans not too happy with that. 2:38 left. Michigan up by 12. Iowa has turned up the heat. Clark has turned up the heat. But Michigan has matched back and kept their double-digit lead. 2:38, it might not be a pretty finish, but Michigan should be able to make it to the finish line and get this dub against a ranked opponent.
The Iowa coaching staff, lucky not to get a technical foul call there. That's what those jeers from the Michigan crowd were. 3 of the Iowa coaching staff up in the referee's faces wanting a foul call for Caitlin Clark there, who just kind of fell down.
Yeah. I know we're a radio outlet, so we can't really show you pictures, but after the game, go look up Twitter on that deep three from Clark. It looked like no way is this going to go in, and it didn't even hit the rim, hit nothing but net.
Iowa's going to have 25 seconds to work on the shot clock when they inbound this one. Number 3, Uffelter to inbound. Clark driving to her right hand. Felia providing pressure. Pull up, sidestep, 3 from Clark, and that one's good.
I just can't. I'm not even surprised.
Clark's got 39 as Nolan pushes over half court. And Clark called for a foul, tried to jump the passing lane, and caught Danielle Roush on the nose.
You mentioned how dominant she was. Probably like a couple inches from getting another breakaway point on that one. Back to 9-point deficit for Iowa. So they're not out of it quite yet.
Roush to shoot 2. Again, Michigan in the bonus. First free throw on the way from the freshman point guard, nothing but net. Correction, senior point guard. Roush looking for another one here. And that one rims out. 2:20 left to play. 88-78 here as Felia is called for a foul in the backcourt. Clark will go to the line and shoot 2.
Honestly, that might not be a bad move. Better than her draining another impossible 3.
Sonano and Martin, the 2 Hawkeyes in the paint, as Clark heads to the line to shoot 2. First one goes, bringing her total for the night up to 40 points. Well over her season average of 26.5. First one hits the front of the rim, back of the rim, and then finds the bottom of the net. Kaiser, inbounds with pressure coming from Iowa. Pass up now to Hillman. 3 seconds to get it over half court, and she'll just dribble it over herself. 2:06 left to play here in this one. Hillman picks up the dribble, but now gets it into Maddie Nolan's hands. 10 seconds left to work in the shot clock. Hillman gets it to Felia. Side dribble with the right hand. Now back to the left. Working hard. Puts up an errant layup. Hillman pulls down the rebound. It's going to be called on the floor. That one a foul called on number 44, Addison O'Grady. Looks like, correction, that one on Sonano, so she fouls out. Sonano will head to the bench, 13 points and only 1 rebound. Addison O'Grady will check in.
Fans are waving goodbye. Nas is going to take 2 from the line. So far this game has 25. I feel like it's being overshadowed by Clark, but Nas has had an incredible day herself.
Hillman 25 and 10 for another double-double to her resume. First free throw too far off the back iron. Second free throw hits the front of the rim but rolls in. 26 for the All-American. Michigan now providing pressure in the full court, trying to keep the ball out of Caitlin Clark's hands if they can. Clark pushes off with the left arm, doesn't get the foul call she wants. Sidestep 3, that one is good! Caitlin Clark with a circus shot, and she's got 44.
She cannot miss this fourth quarter.
Foul called as Michigan gets it over half court. Felia will go to the line and shoot 2. Uffelter with her 4th personal.
It's a 6-point game with a minute and a half left. This game had no right to be as close as it is, but Caitlin Clark carrying the entire Hawkeyes offense on her back.
Felia's first free throw is good. The freshman now with 22. Iowa has to be very careful here. Sonano is already fouled out. Uffelter has 4 fouls. They've only got 7 active players tonight. Felia 2 for 2. And Coach Kim Barnes-Arico is going to call a timeout. Both teams head to their benches with 1:30 left to play. Michigan up 91-83.
This game isn't over yet, especially if Clark just keeps shooting like she has so far.
Caitlin Clark had a quote-unquote quiet first half by her standards, but has really turned it on here in the fourth quarter. 44 points on 14 for 27 from the field, 6 for 12 from downtown, and an almost perfect 10 for 11 from the free throw line. Clark 1 assist away from a double-double, but if you're Michigan, you got to think that she's going to look to do it herself here with 1:30 left to play.
Yeah, who needs the assist when you can just drain any three? Michigan is triple covering her, getting physical on the full court. She's cutting through the defense like butter, putting up a crazy circus shot, and it goes in.
Hillman is going to guard Caitlin Clark in the full court. The two best players in the Big Ten matched up. Clark manages to escape the pressure and now barely gets it over. Up to Taiwo. Pass to Martin, her three from the opposite side, off the front of the rim. Pulling it down is O'Grady in one! And that foul is going to go on Emily Kaiser, who's now fouled out.
Wow. 1:14 left. This game is coming down to the wire.
At one point, Michigan led by as much as 25. But Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes never let off the gas. The lead now just 6. O'Grady looking to make it 5. O'Grady converts the and one, so now, as I mentioned, the lead just 5. Clark almost jumps the inbounds pass there. Dilk pushes up in transition, and she's fouled. Former teammate Taiwo gets her on the arm, so Amy Dilk will go to the line and shoot 2.
Michigan needs to make these. Iowa's trying to get the ball back and get a miracle, but it's in Michigan's hands.
Filia, the only Wolverine in the paint. Dilk's first free throw, nothing but net.
Extends it back to 6 points.
Hillman and Filia trade places, so now is Hillman the only Wolverine in the paint. Second free throw from Dilk is good. Used every part of the rim and backboard, but doesn't matter. Point's the point just the same. Taiwo gets the inbounds pass from Clark. Coming up in transition. Roush tips it away from her. Clark puts up an errant shot, and she's fouled.
If that would have gone in, I would have hung up this broadcast. That still a foul, though, but the shot didn't make it.
Clark will go to the line with 44 points. 10 for 11 on the night. Make it 11 for 12. She misses the second.
That is huge for Michigan, keeping it a 6-point game for the moment.
Knocks down 2 of 3, the first and the third. Dilk to inbound. Finally gets it into Maddie Nolan, who gives it right back. Pressure coming from Iowa, and they're going to foul. Martin grabs her. That's her third. Dilk will go to the line to shoot 2 more.
I'm curious right now about fouling out at the end. Normally it's just a no-brainer, but you mentioned how few players Iowa has. Guess they just have to be careful who they decide to foul with.
Dilk knocks down her third consecutive free throw. Second one. Off the back iron. She's now 5 for 6 on the night. Inbounds pass goes to anybody else, but Caitlin Clark pulls up a shot from just over half court and airballs that one. As the airball chants start once again. Bounce pass in to Danielle Roush, who almost turns it over, gets it over to Maddie Nolan, who's fouled by Clark. So Nolan now will shoot 2.
This is huge for Nolan. 14 points already on the day. 48 seconds, too, so game's coming down to the wire.
Nolan, 14 points to her name in this one, but these her first free throw attempts of the day. This one drops down.
It's not out of the question that Michigan makes triple digits.
Nolan knocks down her second, and Iowa's going to call a timeout. What a game it has been. Michigan went into the half completely in control, as we mentioned a few times before this broadcast, led by as much as 25. The lead now cut to just 8, as we have 48.5 seconds left to play. Michigan 96, Iowa 88. Caitlin Clark with more than half of her team's 88 points.
I don't think anyone in the entire Crisler Center, myself included, thought the game would be this close after halftime. A win's a win in the stat book, but Iowa is not going to give it to Michigan easily. 1 timeout apiece, both teams in the bonus. 48.6 seconds as Michigan is up by 8.
With 88, Iowa has reached their benchmark of the season of 84.2. Martin to inbound. You got to think it's going to Clark here. Shakes off a screen. Now driving with the left hand. Pushes off Ophelia and airballs that jumper. Nolan pulls down the rebound and immediately gets fouled.
That's 3 straight missed shots for Clark. Probably the worst time for her to get cold, especially as the team's relying on her. Still 46 points in this one so far.
Uffelter fouls out. So Kylie Feuerbach will check back in. Iowa in all sorts of foul trouble.
Clark is at 4 fouls, too. If I were the coach, I would advise her just not to touch anyone. The game's over. She goes on the bench, especially with that tiny bench anyway.
With 44 seconds left to play here, the only 5 active players for Iowa are the ones on the floor right now. Maddie Nolan misses her first of 2 from the line. 2 players with 3 fouls on the floor for Iowa. Clark has 4.
Michigan 3 away from 100.
Clark gets a dribble handoff. Now driving baseline. Passes into O'Grady, who has the easy layup. Score now, 90-97. Nolan just trying to hold it. 5 seconds to get it over half court. And Feuerbach catches Feely on the arm. That'll be her 4th personal.
That was hilarious because Clark, she knows she has 4 fouls, and she was on the ball at that. She was calling over to her teammate. She's like, I can't touch her. And that burnt like 6 or 7 seconds alone. That's huge for Michigan in such a tight game like this.
The freshman Layla Felia having a career night. Looking to advance her box score here and misses the first free throw. Roush and Hillman on the interior. Felia now 6 for 8 from the line tonight as she makes that one. Her career high extends even further now to 24. And Iowa's going to get called for a backcourt violation, and that one is just devastating. Feuerbach, just an unnecessary turnover.
That was awfully close, but that's going to be devastating. You're going to have to foul, and they don't have too many fouls to give. The whole team doesn't.
Roush gets the inbounds pass into Nolan, who's just going to dribble it out here as Taiwo tries to get the steal. But Michigan is going to hold on as Hillman will just hold it out The clock ticking under 10 seconds. The final score from Crisler Center tonight. One for the history books, 98-90. The Wolverines come out on top, and that's another top 25 win for the Maize and Blue.
Hillman just taking it all in as she holds out the end of the clock with the ball. Iowa just gave up. They couldn't fight anymore. They had no fouls to give.
What a night in Crisler Center. 98-90. Naz Hillman leading the way with 26. But the freshman Layla Felia having one heck of a night herself. A career-high 24 points. On the side of Iowa, Caitlin Clark putting on a show late in the fourth quarter. 46 points from the sophomore. And what a night it's been.
So there we go. Michigan, after this one, they head to Lansing, play rival Michigan State. Then they go to Evanston at noon Central Time. WCBN will be there to cover that one. And then they return home for a really tough game, probably toughest game yet on the schedule as they face off against Maryland. Have a home game against Michigan State for senior night. And then finish the season on the road against Iowa. I'm sure that's going to have fireworks like this one did in Iowa City.
Again, the final, 98-90. Hillman and Felia combined for 50. Caitlin Clark with 46, over half of her team's total points. But that is going to do it for WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan women's basketball here in Crisler Center. Again, my name is Charlie Brigham. Alongside me, it was Kendall Spencer and Adam Bressler. And as we mentioned a few times before, we have a packed slate coming up this weekend down in Tampa, Florida for the USF Rawlings Invitational, as well as all sorts of basketball back here up in the north where it's a little bit colder than I will be down in Tampa.
A little bit. I am so envious of you down in Tampa over the weekend. Tell me if you see Tom Brady, too. I don't know if he sold his house yet down in Florida, but should be a great tournament. This Michigan softball team has a lot to be excited about. But I'm excited to go to Evanston for this matchup on Sunday. Go to the Windy City. Should be an easy win for Michigan, barring some crazy circumstances. But we just saw this one where they gave up 46 to one player. So I don't even know.
For Adam Bressler, my name is Charlie Brigham. We'd like to thank you one more time for tuning in tonight. We're going to leave you like we always do with a good night and a Go Blue.